This is a Fox News alert. I'm Brett Baer in Washington. A top Democratic senator may be about to face federal corruption charges. New Jersey's Bob Menendez, who has been vocal recently opposing Obama administration policy in Iran and Cuba, is already the subject of a Justice Department investigation, and several reports tonight say he's about to face charges from the Department of Justice. Correspondent Leland Vittert is live tonight with details. Good evening, Leland.
Well, good evening, Brett. We expect to hear from the senator himself in about an hour at a news conference in New Jersey on reports he could be charged with corruption in the next few weeks. And while the Department of Justice won't confirm the charges against Bob Menendez, they don't deny it either. The president ignored a question shouted by reporters when he returned from South Carolina, and the attorney general said he had nothing to say. A previously reported and long ongoing FBI investigation centers around an alleged quid pro quo, with the New Jersey Democrat receiving, among other things, trips on private jets and vacations in the Dominican Republic from this man, Solomon Melgen, a Florida eye doctor who Menendez allegedly helped in his various businesses, including one under investigation by the feds. Once the trips on Melgen's private jet came to light, Menendez repaid Melgen nearly $60,000. A statement from Menendez's office today doesn't confirm possible charges, but notes, quote, "The senator and doctor are dear friends, and the two have spent holidays together and have gone to each other's family funerals and weddings and have exchanged personal gifts." A hawkish friend of Israel, Menendez is known as a sharp thorn in the side of the Obama administration, and lately an outspoken critic of the president's foreign policy, especially on Iran and normalization of relations with Cuba.
When it comes to defending the U.S.-Israel relationship, I am not intimidated by anyone, not Israel's political enemies and not my political friends when I believe they're wrong.
According to the New Jersey Law Journal, which came upon the documents the Justice Department accidentally posted and has since removed, the investigation also brings up a constitutional question. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals will now get involved to see if Menendez's aides are constitutionally protected against answering questions about the investigation. The aides cite Article 1, Section 6 of the Constitution, the Speech and Debate Clause, which says a senator or his staff may not be questioned about legislative acts except on the Senate floor. Brett?
And we'll follow that press conference in about an hour. Leland, thank you. It appears the Hillary Clinton philosophy about private email accounts during her time as Secretary of State could be summed up as the more the merrier. Fox News has learned that Secretary Clinton had several email addresses, despite aides saying she used only one. That is just one of the factors behind a subtle shift away from Clinton for the Obama administration. Correspondent Doug McKelway has tonight's story.
There were signs today that the White House is distancing itself from potential Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton. In a Bloomberg interview, senior aide Valerie Jarrett was asked if she ever received an email from Clinton.
I actually did not. No, I have not received an email from Secretary Clinton.
Did members of the administration receive emails from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State?
That I don't know. I do know that obviously the president has a very firm policy that emails should be kept on government systems.
At the State Department, spokesman Marie Harf was pummeled for a half an hour with questions about Clinton's private emails.
Is this department feeling any political pressure from the White House, from the Clinton camp, from any Clinton supporters to remove information that could potentially be embarrassing to a possible Clinton campaign?
No.
With State now in possession of 55,000 of the emails, the months-long process of examining them for production to the Select Benghazi Committee may have gotten more arduous. Fox News' James Rosen has found that Clinton appears to have many private email addresses, some possibly for aides, all of them outside the department's secure system.
Even as an intern at the State Department in 2004, 2005, with the lowest possible level security clearance, I was given a classified email account. Even at that level, there's a degree of accountability and an expectation that employees are going to handle information appropriately.
Asked in a Fox News poll completed just as the email story broke whether Clinton is honest and trustworthy, 44% said yes, A majority of 52% said no. Sensing she's wounded, other potential Democratic contenders are stepping in. Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley has a packed schedule of speaking engagements in New Hampshire. Vice President Joe Biden, fresh from Iowa, today spoke to the Human Rights Campaign, a key Democratic constituency. The liberal Huffington Post today features this piece headlined, "The Answer to Hillary Clinton's Email Gate? Vote Senator Elizabeth Warren in 2016."
And the New York Times reported today that last August, senior State Department officials held negotiations with a team of Clinton lawyers to gain access to her personal emails. But it was not until December, after the midterm elections, that 50,000 emails were finally delivered to the State Department. Brett?
Doug, thank you. Well, we've given you plenty of information about the Clinton email situation here on Fox News Channel. What about the mainstream media? Fox News media analyst and host of Fox's Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz, takes a look on that tonight.
The story broke in the New York Times, the epicenter of the media establishment, and the controversy over Hillary Clinton's private email account continues to reverberate. Front page headlines all over the web, all over cable news. 3 straight nights on all 3 network newscasts.
Tonight, though, she is under fire for using only her private email account in that very public role of Secretary of State. Critics say it was flat out wrong.
What's most striking about the uproar is the sharp criticism by liberals, from a Washington Post editorial to some anchors at MSNBC.
If it's true that she never used a State Department email address, we have something that at first read has no conceivable rational explanation to it that is legitimate.
Some defenders, such as MSNBC's Ed Schultz, are calling this a GOP witch hunt. And Morning Joe co-host Mika Brzezinski admits her reaction would be far different if this involved a big-name Republican.
Can you imagine table if this was Dick Cheney and he had a server in McLean, Virginia?
Oh, my Lord.
Well, I'm just going to be transparent. I'd go crazy. I would be completely off the hook if it were, and I'm trying to be, because I do think sometimes there's a little bit of bias that sneaks into this, but this is wrong.
The email furor resonates with many journalists who covered allegations of secrecy and corner cutting that plagued First Lady Hillary Clinton during investigations into Whitewater and Travelgate and her 6-figure profits on cattle futures.
This is the same old Clinton that we know, and I think the reason it hurts her is because we've seen the movie before throughout the 90s.
Hillary Clinton's tense relations with journalists are rooted in those early years. With so many unanswered questions and no other serious Democratic candidate to distract them, the mainstream media show no signs of slowing down. Brett?
Howie, thanks. Well, what do you think? Do you think the media overall are being fair with their coverage of the Hillary email controversy? Let me know at facebook.com/BrettBaerSR or on Twitter @BrettBaer. You can use the hashtag special report. Republicans are demanding an apology from the Democratic opposition group American Bridge for a comment about New Jersey Governor and likely presidential candidate Chris Christie. A spokesman, Brad Woodhouse, said of Christie, quote, "We want to kill him dead," referring to the Democratic group continuing to shadow him, looking for potential missteps despite his lackluster showing in the polls. A Republican official says that crossed the line. Up next, some bad news behind economic numbers that appear to look pretty good. First, here's what some of our Fox affiliates around the country are covering tonight. Fox 11 in Charleston, as West Virginian lawmakers are easily overriding the Democratic governor's veto of a bill prohibiting abortions after 20 weeks. The measure has some exemptions for medical emergencies, but not for rape and incest. Fox 11 in Los Angeles, where actor Harrison Ford was injured during the emergency landing of his World War II-era plane on a golf course. The NTSB says Ford radioed a short time after takeoff that he had engine failure and was returning to Santa Monica Airport. Ford suffered a cut to his forehead and some scrapes to his arms. And this is a live look at Orlando from our affiliate down there in Florida, Fox 35. The big story there tonight, a NASA spacecraft orbiting a dwarf planet for the first time. The ship, named Dawn, has begun a 16-month exploration of Ceres, which is the largest object in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Ceres is about the size of Texas. That's tonight's live look. Outside the Beltway from Special Report. We'll be right back.